Hello, I'm gonna be reviewing Hellraiser III, Hell on Earth. I actually did record these latest Hellraiser reviews about last week, but I was having trouble uploading them because I was using them on my phone, and the reason why I wanted to record them on my phone is because they had better picture and audio quality, but I was having too much trouble with it, and I got frustrated, and now I'm just trying to get these reviews done as quick as I can before I forget about the movies I watched. And I just have a limited amount of time recording videos. But I wanted to show you this. I got a Lament configuration figure recently, and it actually opens up. It's kind of hard opening up, but I'll try to open it up during the review to show it. Anyways. So I'm going to be reviewing Hellraiser 3, Hell on Earth, which comes in this box, in this pack, I mean. It's just not a good pack, and, I don't know if I'm really gonna update these movies. I might update the third one, because that's the only one I really like in this pack. But yeah, the audio and picture quality is kinda shoddy on this. So, and I'm sick too. And when I recorded the original videos, I wasn't sick. So I'm struggling trying to talk a little bit. But, there, Hellraiser 3, Hell on Earth. It's directed by Anthony Hickok, who I know, I know he's directed Waxworks 1 and 2, which they're very fun, kind of, not really horror anthologies, but they're kind of like fun horror themed kind of movies. So this one, the basic plot of this one is about a female news reporter named Joey, who's kind of getting like the shit end of short end of the stick. Short end of the stick. Like they keep sticking her in these kind of like uh reports where nothing's really going on. Like she's doing a report about a new hospital. I think like a new section in the hospital building or something like that. And she hates her job. And then when she's there, a man and a woman come in, and the man's stretched down on a gurney, and he has these hooks sticking out of him. And everyone, the orderlies are freaking out, and everyone's freaking out who's in there, and they're like, well, what's going on? Oh, what's going on? And the girl that's with them, she's like, I don't know, I just found them like this. And they're like, where did you find him at? And then they're like, he was outside of this nightclub called the Boiler Room. Oh, here, it opened. But, so, when, everyone's looking back at him, these lightning bolts come down and shock him, and, these lightning bolts come down and shock him, and these hooks tear into his face, and he explodes. It's a cheesy scene, but it was kind of a cool effect that they did, but it's a really stupid scene. Oh, and here's the rest of it. Then it, sorry, then it cuts to, well, I think this happened beforehand. There's a young, good-looking man named, JP Monroe, who is an art collector, and he owns the nightclub called the Boiler Room. And he picks up this pillar that's made in marble, which I was watching another review of this, trying to get all the points back. But I didn't know that, I forgot that the Pillar of Souls was actually in Hellraiser 2. It pops up at the ending, but it looks totally different. Like in that version, it's all wood, and the faces, there's like real looking faces on the boards and stuff. This one, they took it and put it's made out of marble. And it has a figure of Pinhead in it. But he buys the Pillar of Souls, and he takes it to his apartment, which is part of the nightclub. And his thing that he likes to do is, he likes to give roses to women in there, and he has sex with them and kind of ditches them. He's a scumbag. Like, he's really like not a likable character at all. And but one day after he has sex with this woman, him and her get into an argument because she thinks that they're actually gonna hook up or something, and he said, no, I'm just using you, this and that. And she backs up into the Pillar of Souls, and Pinhead grabs her, sucks her in, rips her skin off, all that. Then JP starts freaking out, and Pinhead's like, if you want, I'll make a deal with you. You bring me these souls, and I'll break out of this and cause hell on Earth. Basically, that's where the title comes from. And he promises JP, like, typical stuff, like, I'll show you all the pain and pleasure you ever want to experience. Then there's just a lot going on with this plot. Then Joey keeps having, the news reporter, she keeps having these dreams about her father in Vietnam, and she meets this man from World War One called Captain Spencer, who was Pinhead's human half, like, before he turned into a Cenobite. And Captain Spencer is trying to convince Joey to get him with Pinhead so they can mold together to, to kill off his evil half, which is Pinhead. And she has to kill him with the puzzle box. And basically, that's the simplest plot of the movie. This is the last Hellraiser movie. Now, I've seen all of them now. I rewatched all of them now. But this is definitely the last one I really enjoy in the franchise. Oh, it's not really like the first two. This one is somewhat connected to the first movie, because they have video footage of Kirsty from from these files called the Chenard Institute. We got the Pillar of Souls. We got, the Cenobites. We got I'm sorry. We got all that. But it's this one's known more as the MTV Hellraiser, because it's very flashy and stylistic. At least for the early 90s it was. Like, everyone's dressed up in these bondage, rock and roll kind of shit. And there's a lot of metal songs on the soundtrack. And it ends with a song by Motorhead called Hellraiser. That's the closing title song. Then also this one too, it really pushes Pinhead into the foreground as being like this evil kind of slasher kind of figure. Like, there's this one scene where he massacres everybody in the nightclub. Really see a whole lot of it, but you see a good amount, and it is fucking vicious and bloody as hell. And yeah, that's like one of the best scenes in the movie. Some things I do like about this movie. I like the Boiler Club massacre. I like the church scene where Joey runs into this church, and it's kind of like blasphemous, and I was kind of surprised it came out, and I'm surprised it was put in a movie from 1992, considering there was a lot of that satanic panic stuff going on in America, because this is an American production. So there's a scene where Joey's trying to escape from Pinhead, because there's this long ass chase scene that I'll get to, and she runs into this church, and the priest is asking her, she's like, what's wrong and stuff, and she's like, there's this demon after me, And he goes, demons are not real, they're just metaphors and parables and this and that. And then Pinhead busts open the door, and then she goes, the what the fuck is that? That scene made me laugh so hard. Then, he goes up to the priest, like the priest is trying to stop him, and he melts like a crucifix, and he goes, thou shalt not bow down before any graven image. And, I don't know if he said, does it look like I care what God thinks? I don't know, I don't remember if it's in this movie, but there's a part where he grabs, or he goes up to the altar and he sticks his needles, he pulls like the pins out of his head and sticks it in both hands, and he does like the Jesus Christ pose, and he goes, I am the way. And then he starts tormenting the priest, and it's like very like kind of blasphemous. Like, I'm not a religious person, but just like I was surprised that it was put in this movie, especially in the early 90s. There's this long ass chase scene that was pretty cool, but during the boiler massacre, like Pinhead, I guess he got his Cenobites taken away from in the other movies, like Chatter, Butterball, and the female Cenobite. So he makes his own, and he has one that has CDs in its head, and it throws CDs at people. And there's one with a camera in its head, and it like punches people in the head with the camera lens. Then there's this really big fat one that kind of looks like Butterball, but it has barbed wire all over it, and it has like this martini shaker, and it goes around just shooting fire out its mouth, and they're kind of dumb looking Cenobites, but I'm just thinking about it. It was in the early 90s, and they're trying to do like modern times and stuff, so I understand. Sorry, even though it's kind of dated. Then, but they're just this long ass chase scene where she's running through the streets of New York, and they're like blowing stuff up and trying to attack her. And then there's a scene where they kill off these police officers. Dude, they're like kind of the dumbest police officers I've seen in a movie. Not the dumbest, but they were pretty stupid. Now, I did like the flashbacks with Joey and Elliot Spencer when, he was telling her about about how he became Pinhead and all that. I thought that was pretty good. They kind of worked off each other really well. And when the final confrontation happens, it doesn't look cheesy, even though it's the same actor who plays Pinhead and Elliot. The relationship between Joey and, I think her name is Terry, who is the, female. She's one of, JP's ex-girlfriends, which JP kind of convinces to come back, and there's this whole fight that happens with them, and JP gets killed. But before that, her and Joey like meet up, and then she starts staying in Joey's apartment, and she shows Joey like the puzzle box and all that, and she goes, I'll be a good friend, I can help you, and this and that. Now, I kind of found Terry a little bit annoying, because, I understand, like, she's an abuse victim, and she's one of those girls that like to go, not, I shouldn't say, they tend to go back to their abusive boyfriends, and I could not stand her. She was just too whiny and over the top for me. But Joey was kind of alright. She didn't have, like, the strongest performance, but I thought she did pretty well. The relationship between them two is kind of, like, messed up because, it seems like Joey was only around her just to get the story from her, and Terry was kind of gullible to believe her, but I know that's part of her character personality. She's used to falling for people that, will later screw her over. Um, now, my opinions of this movie. Like I said, this is the last good Hellraiser movie in my opinion, and I would highly recommend it. And anyways, that's my review.